And I can't even believe I'm going to tell you what I'm about to tell you.
Honestly, I want to cry. I want to cry in so many different ways.
In societies where abortion is legal, what's different is that women die.
Today we'll be talking about the Met Gala, the glitz, the glamour, the fashion, the culture. Just kidding! We're talking about the Supreme Court and potentially overturning Roe versus Wade. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live. Today, what starts right now?
2, 1.
Here we go!
Might be the only brown guy on earth named Jobob.
That is actually her name, Jobob.
From the dingy bunker, completely cut off from the outside world, except for you fine folks. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live. Thanks so much for tuning in on May 3rd, the year of our Lord 2022. New you in 22. If you haven't started that, you need to get going. The Met Gala took place yesterday, and nobody freaking cares. You know why? Because the Supreme Court of the United States, if you haven't heard this yet, is potentially going to strike down Roe versus Wade. Now, there's a lot of hinkiness going on. We're a little bit late today because we have a lot of clips to get to regarding all of that, so we'll just jump into it right now. The first thing that I do when this stuff happens is I turn on MSNBC. I know I'm a weirdo, and I appreciate you for tolerating my weirdo-ness, but I think it's so funny, the freak out and the panic that happens on some of your super lefty networks. Chris Hayes was on air on MSNBC at the time that this dropped. Catch everybody up really quick. Yesterday, Politico released a leaked draft opinion written by Justice Samuel Alito regarding abortion in knocking down Roe versus Wade. If you missed that is pretty massive news already. I feel like people should have heard about that already, but if you missed it, that's what's happening. Chris Hayes on MSNBC was the one to bring it to the MSNBC viewers, and I think it was hilarious to watch him talk about it. So without further ado, we'll watch this. If you haven't already, click the little like button, click the little share button. This is like the biggest day in news for a while. I don't know, probably since Russia invaded Ukraine. A lot of stuff to get to. I want to clarify a lot of different things. But first, watch Chris Hayes melt down just a little bit on MSNBC.
We have huge breaking news tonight, and I can't even believe I'm going to tell you what I'm about to tell you. But in a highly, indeed, as far as I can tell, utterly unprecedented leak from the Supreme Court, Politico has obtained what they say is an initial draft majority opinion written by Justice Alito showing the Supreme Court striking down Roe versus Wade. Quote, Roe was egregiously wrong from the start, Alito writes. We hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled, he writes in the document labeled as the opinion of the court. Again, I'm reading from the Politico article. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives. Now, Politico mentions this in a piece.
So we're going to go on. He talks to somebody, and they say the quiet part out loud. If you haven't already, we'd really appreciate you clicking the little like button. There's a couple thousand of you watching. Click the little share button. But just so we're clear on what's happening, Supreme Court expected to overturn a landmark decision after oral arguments in December, according to a draft leaked by Politico. Thought is the vote. I'm reading from Daily Caller. Legal experts, this is where it gets really interesting. Not a lot of people should be surprised about the court voting in the way that they're voting. But legal experts said that the leak would damage the trust of the functioning of the court, and it was likely a political move. Legal scholar Jonathan Turley, who is not really conservative by any means, sided with Trump a lot, mostly because he was right, not because he liked him. Legal scholar Jonathan Turley said the leak was likely part of a push to encourage liberal efforts to protect abortion rights through the Supreme Court and through the legislature, to put in public pressure on the Supreme Court. So with that being said, the leak is unprecedented. I asked a poll on my Instagram page yesterday of, have you ever heard of a Supreme Court draft opinion leaking? Pretty much everybody said no, because it's not a thing that happens ever. So without diving into the Roe versus Wade issue on its face, I would like to take the angle of like what is happening there. I think MSNBC, the guest that they had on Chris Hayes' show, said the quiet part out loud. I want to play this clip for you. I think it's a little bit longer, so bear with it. But it's very, very important to see how the left is currently thinking, because they've been able to get away with causing riots, and really nothing has happened to them so far doing that. They're thinking they can create enough swell of public pressure to try and stave off the overturning of Roe versus Wade before a final vote takes place. So watch this. If you haven't already, there's way more of you watching than have clicked the little like button. Would really appreciate you doing that. It helps us out substantially. And people need to see MSNBC, again, say the quiet part out loud. So really just click the little like or angry button. Click the angry button if you want. Watch this.
This has never happened before, as far as I know, a draft opinion of the court leaking, A. B,
correct.
This would be, if true, the most seismic court ruling in 50 years, most likely. Earthquake in the lives of America's women, in our legal culture, in our political culture.
So I would say that the fact that somebody is leaking this is telling us that that person hopes that they can sway perhaps Chief Justice John Roberts to split the difference a little bit. Again, I'm totally speculating, but
Right.
This extraordinary leak, I think, needs to be read on its own as somebody really trying to draw attention to what the court is about to do to the lives of the American people.
Yes, I mean, that's part of what's so shocking about it, is that it seems like a signal flare, right? I mean, a complete moment of break glass desperation.
Which is exactly what they said. They admitted, at least initially, I would guarantee you that they're not going to mention that again, because this was all happening in real time. Chris Hayes learned about it and then 2 minutes went on the air and was like, holy cow, what the heck is going on? And then told the truth for a little bit, which is a new thing for them to do over at MSNBC, but they did it, I think, unknowingly, before speculation started to circle around. What the heck is this leak? Likely politically motivated. This is, again, Jonathan Turley reading from the Daily Caller. I am right now. Most likely, a motivation is obvious to pressure the court and to push legislation in Congress on a federal abortion law before the midterm elections. It will likely renew the call for court packing, Turley said. This draft is from February, and the majority can shift on such opinions. However, the act of leaking such a draft opinion ranks as an original sin for judicial ethics. There's a lot of people out there saying that the person that leaked this draft in an attempt, pretty obviously in an attempt to sway the court, it's ground for disbarment. That's the bottom line. That's what a lot of people are saying. This is another article from the Daily Caller. Chief Supreme Court Justice John Roberts will likely launch an investigation involving the FBI into the SCOTUS leak from the Dobbs abortion case, according to CBS News' Elizabeth Campbell. The apparent February 10th draft opinion obtained by Politico, published Monday, showed that the initial majority opinion of the court is poised to strike down the landmark Roe versus Wade decision granting women's rights to abortion. Yeah, all that. The leak is the big thing. We're now thinking, as of this morning, Supreme Court Justice John Roberts is going to launch a full-scale investigation, including the FBI, to figure out who leaked this, because it's clearly against judicial ethics, grounds for disbarment, and it's probably some super woke clerk, I don't know, probably in Sonia Sotomayor's office. I'm just speculating, but if I were to take a guess, that's probably who I would pick. But this is nothing new. I wanted to bring up a clip from late last year in the Kyle Rittenhouse case on MSNBC. People outside the courts in Kenosha, Wisconsin, beating drums and having some very poor chanting outcomes. Their chants were terrible. But one reporter on MSNBC on Joy Reid's show said that in the protesters' own words, they were trying to push and pressure the outcome of the jury and the court. Watch this clip. Again, this is not a new tactic by big lefties out there.
The people who were protesting against what Rittenhouse did, do they think that he will be convicted just when they were talking to you?
Frankly, they don't. And part of this is pushing that. They think that they want to push and pressure the jury or pressure the court to hold Kyle Rittenhouse accountable in their words.
So in the words of the protesters outside the courts in Kenosha, Wisconsin, a couple months ago, they were saying, we're trying to push and pressure the courts. Now, that same mentality probably trickled its way all the way up to a clerk in the Supreme Court building that said, well, if we can get enough public pressure out there to push and pressure the courts, in MSNBC's words, maybe we can cause enough public outcry for something that pretty much everybody agrees on. By the way, we haven't talked at all about actual abortion law. The majority of the country doesn't agree with being able to abort a kid, especially after the first trimester. In the second trimester, nobody agrees. Like, it falls off a cliff. And the third trimester, literally only your crazy people like Alex Padilla, Secretary of State of California. No, he's a senator. Alex Padilla is a senator. And what was the other guy's name? Xavier Becerra, who's now Health and Human Services Secretary, also from California. Only like those two people are like super pro. Oh, yeah, you can abort a baby in the third trimester. California hasn't. We're going down a rabbit hole right now. There are crazy laws on the books in California. We won't talk about that right now because I'm currently more interested in this leak and how this came out. Another interesting thing that I think we should all be paying attention to in this Supreme Court decision and the leak that happened out of the Supreme Court, which is unprecedented, is how quickly people amassed outside of the Supreme Court yesterday. When the news broke and the political article hit the airwaves, is that what the internet's called nowadays? Yeah, we'll call it the airwaves. When the news articles from Politico hit the airwaves that this is the direction the Supreme Court is going, within like 30 minutes, people were outside SCOTUS protesting. So one needs to ask the question of whether or not this was a coordinated attempt in some way, shape, or form. That particular somebody who leaked it inside the Supreme Court maybe coordinated with some of the local chapters of your big pro-abortion people and said, hey, this is coming out. Get ready to go. Here's some footage from outside the Supreme Court last night. Again, people amassing very, very quickly, like oddly quick, with signs that apparently they just had ready to go. I don't know. We'll watch some of this and then have some commentary over it. So just to so this is, again, odd to me. If you're just listening to this, sorry, this is mostly visual. But it's weird to me that how many people were able to amass in Washington, D.C. semi-immediately. Now, you've got some clashing going on here with the pro-life people and the pro-choice people. There was a barrier put up in between them because, I don't know. John says, Democrats love protesting. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe they just live for protesting. I don't know how you get those many people. John says, paid protesters. Yeah, that's one thing that could be happening. I'm not saying that's absolutely what it is. But it's interesting how quickly people amassed at the Supreme Court. They put up a small barrier. There's a couple pictures that I didn't bring on here, but there's a couple pictures of sorry, I'm just watching what's happening. This is crazy. I'm listening in. Yeah, that is some wild scenes there. I brought up some pictures, or I saw some pictures that I thought were interesting. That how the Capitol Police was protecting the House of Representatives, which is a the People's House, and people can go into the buildings, all of the buildings that house members of Congress. That is public territory, and you should be able to enter that. But they blocked off a ton of it for the last, I don't know, however many months. And then when this crazy leak comes out of the Supreme Court, they have like small, not going to do anything, little fences that go up. Didn't bring that picture up, but I don't know. Interesting. So now is the time in the show where we get to have some fun, I guess. I don't know if this is fun. It's interesting, nonetheless, to watch some of the panic and freak out. The exaggeration has begun. Now, just so we're all on the same page here, if this in fact holds and the Supreme Court does say, hey, Roe versus Wade is not cool and we are not going to allow it to be the law of the land anymore, that doesn't eliminate abortions in the entire country. That's not what it does. It doesn't make it entirely illegal. It just goes back to the states, and then the states can decide whether or not they're going to put abortion laws in place or make it entirely legal. It's an entirely a state thing. Dang it, not to go down the rabbit hole again. Roe versus Wade was bad case law, regardless of what you think about abortion. Roe versus Wade in the 70s took more power away from the states into the federal government, and therefore it was a bad law just on its face, regardless of what you think about abortion. This is like, imagine the federal government saying that they're going to dictate the speed limit for every road in America, and it's all going to be 50 miles an hour. That's what Roe versus Wade was like. Again, aside from abortion, it was bad law in that the federal government took more power away from the states. Then you factor in the whole killing children thing, and it becomes a new thing. But now we're going to see massive hyperbole coming from your lefty outlets. This is one Jeffrey Toobin. If you're familiar with Jeffrey Toobin's act, he was the guy on CNN that was caught making himself excited and happy on a Zoom call. He's back at CNN. For some reason, there are no other legal analysts that can do the job that Jeffrey Toobin is doing. And he said he's taken the hyperbole to the limit. Watch this.
You know, there is a lot of evidence. There are many societies, especially in Central and South America, that ban abortion altogether. And the rate of abortion does not go down when abortion is banned. There are just as many abortions, if not more, in societies where abortion is legal. What's different is that women die.
I don't want to laugh at that or make light of it, but here we go. Here it is. Oh no, Roe versus Wade. Oh no, the power goes back to the states. People are gonna die. Also, did Jeffrey Toobin just assume that the only people that could give birth were women? Gavin Newsom had a tweet yesterday, and I didn't pull it up, but I do have it on my phone because I screenshotted it and retweeted it yesterday because it's hilarious. Gavin Newsom talks about proposing an amendment to the At the end of his tweet, Governor King Gavin Newsom of California says, women will remain protected here. Gavin, do you think that women are the only people that can give birth? What about the birthing rights for men, Gavin, you bigot? The left eating their own is just a fun thing to watch, regardless of how partisan you might be. I want to close today talking about this with this. The online panic of some of your big lefties out there. Not big lefties, all. Some of your normal lefties. This is from Liberals of TikTok, Libs of TikTok, the Twitter account that has been said to target liberals, but really just reposts what they're already posting. That's kind of it. So that is what it is. Watch some of these clips. They are very funny, especially given the context of, hey, just goes back to the states. That's all it is. Roe goes away. States get more power, which is how the country was designed to work in the first place. If you haven't already, click the little like button, click the little share button, because your friends will appreciate this. This is some Libs of TikTok people freaking out about the possibility of Roe versus Wade going away. And oh no, God forbid the states have more power over their own people or control instead of the federal government. Watch this.
This abortion law goes beyond a woman's issue, and it goes beyond anything you could ever imagine. The societal implications of this are going to be insane. The amount of just pain and damage this is going to cause, and the full ability to tell a woman what she can and can't do with her body. And we're going back into a Handmaid's Tale society here.
All of you women who sat home, all you young girls, adults over 18 years old who did not go out and vote, who did not think that you need to protect your womb, we're now back in the dark ages.
Brace yourselves, ladies. I'm with you. My heart is just broken. I don't understand why this country hates women so much. I just don't understand it. We'll get through this. We'll figure out a way.
No more joking about it being a Handmaid's Tale. It will be.
Yep, totally. Oh man, I when watching Libs of TikTok, I don't know whether to be in a jovial, hilarious mood, because it is hilarious, but also, what the heck is wrong with people, man? I don't quite understand. So that's that. I promised the Alejandro Mayorkas thing from State of the Union, the TV show, today, but I don't know. When the Supreme Court drops a bomb like this on us and makes us talk about it, that's what we do all day. So appreciate you sticking around, tuning in. We'll obviously keep up to date on what's going on here. I think the Justice Roberts investigation, including the FBI, to who leaked this and why, is going to be huge. So we'll obviously follow up on that when it, I don't know, figures itself out. But all the comments here, I think, is actually fascinating. There's so many people who are just like, yeah, just let the states decide. Let the states decide. What's wrong with the states deciding? States' rights! Exclamation point. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Seems like regardless of what you think about abortion. Now, there's people that feel very, very strongly about it, myself included, on a personal level. Roe versus Wade was just bad case law to begin with. So, yeah, maybe the states should get more rights and people should fight in the place that they live. Fight politically, not physically, obviously. That's going to do it for us today. We will bring on the Alejandro Mayorkas thing tomorrow in case unless the Supreme Court does something else that we need to be talking about, we'll do that. If you haven't given me a follow on any of your social media platforms, you should do that. I would appreciate it. I am hilarious on the Instagram machine and Twitter. It's just quite funny. So you should give me a follow. Just type in JOBOB anywhere where you find all of your social media platforms, Twitter, Truth, Social, Getter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of those. We will see you tomorrow. Anything else comes of this abortion stuff, we'll bring it to you as soon as we can. And yeah, see you then. God bless America.